I'm going to present this poster. This is also a collaboration with the Hospital San Cecilio in Granada. Okay. The motivation of research is while it's a... Oh, sorry. Here. Okay, thank you. The motivation of research is while the well-known problem with mitosis ambiguity when you have to decide in hematoxylin. So what the pathologists said that when you look at both stains at the same time, you can decide. So we try to develop an algorithm to do it. So the problem for this is we have to, in some way, but it's not exactly what we do, is to register images in order to know where is the cell in hematoxylin on the PHH3. So we have geometrical deformation and also appearance deformation. So that's what we deal with in our algorithms. So we have three different main parts. One is to remove rigid registration. For that, it's simple. We apply just a fine transformation, but using the bounding box of the whole slide. And the second one is much more difficult because we have to know where the matches are. For that, this is a search approach. We use the PHH3. We take out all the possible objects, in our case, a cell, in fact, and apply the same to the hematoxylin images. For this, we use the routine in QPath. And while we store, in the case of PHH3 in a list, and the case of hematoxylin in a structure, that structure is called ECDP. In this case, we use the information from the list in page 3 as a query in order to retrieve from the ECDP all points who are near to the coordinate from the point we get from the list. In this case, we have all the potential, okay, matches with one point in page H3. This is, okay, here what we have. This is the query, this is the potential, and we build all possible. In order to assess what is the good one, we use a CNN model. In our case, it is a Siamese network. That implies we extract feature from one of the images here and here the same. Both are the same model. They share weight. Here we make a fusion of feature, and here we mixture some similarity distance. So here we are minimizing is when you put here images from the same category, so are the good one, the similarity distance have to be small, and we put images which are not the same category, the similarity in distance have to be large. That's the way we train this. So at the end, you have one threshold, and you decide which the best one. In our case, we decide always that with the smaller distance. Okay. And here you have details. We have in the poster. We can give all of you the detail about the design of the network. Okay. So we carry out some experiment in order first to assess the matching algorithms, and the second experiment to assess if when we use both modalities in detection, we improve or not. In the first data set, this one here, you can see we use 48 full images, and from them we extract 57,000 matches. That implies that good matches, but we don't care if that matches are mitosis or are background. That's always matches. And with that, we carry out this experiment, is cross-validation, and the summary is, in fact, we only have a loss of matches less than 1% of all matches that were in average in the cross-validation experiment. In the second experiment, we use a different data set. In this case, we use a data set of 17 full images, and we extract, in this case, mitosis, and background. So we train again and carry out also cross-validation result. That is he says, in both cases, a fight for cross-validation. And the result you can see here when you use one stain, the other stain single, and the combination on both. So in our case, we see there one increment in 2 points in F1 score, what is, I will say, a good improvement. So the result conclusion for us is feature from both stains, improved mitosis detection. Also, the labeling of the mutation takes benefits of using both because you can solve the cases in which you have ambiguity. And also, one thing is, the last one is that our proposal is better adapted to fully, I would say, digital pathology lab workflow, because you have to make twice a stain and twice a scan for every single slide. So perhaps in this case it's single, that in other cases much more difficult. That's all.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you. Is there any questions about this? Any questions in this session at all from
people are tired.
Could I ask then, so you mentioned about implementing a fully digital pathology lab workflow. Can you say anything about where you plan to go in the future with this? Or
Well, pathologists that collaborating with that, they say yes, they are trying to do it. I don't know if they are today doing it in all cases, but in most of them they use it, yes. And they said it's simple because you can order the hematocillin, you have to order the PHH3 is simple because it's digital and everything is work very smoothly. That's the way they say.